A couple of weeks ago, I reviewed the Suzuki GSX-S. Now that bike, I must say, I really enjoyed my time with that bike. Stunning, very nimble, versatile bike, and I really thought it's a brilliant package. The design, the looks, not for everybody, very cutting edge, very futuristic, transformer looking like, not for everybody, but it really grew on me. Even that Smurf blue color worked really well on that bike. So all around, I enjoyed that bike. And here today, I'm gonna test and review these bigger sibling, the Suzuki GSX-S1000. Now this bike is pretty much the versatile twin brother of the GSX-R1000, the all-star athlete, the super bike. Same chassis and that. So from the R1000 you get the S1000, the naked. A good title for this bike is a well-mannered naked liter bike. But in this episode, let's look at the bike, look at the specs, go walk around, show you this bike and go for a ride and review the ride and its qualities of this bike. Here we have it in front of me, the all-new Suzuki GSX-S1000. Again, it's the twin brother, the naked version of the all-star GSX-R1000, the superbike, this being the naked version. Really stunning bike. It has the same frame and chassis and that as the R1000. However, this motor is based on the famous 2005 onwards K5 Suzuki motor, the one with a really high torque that was tearing up the streets and doing so well, that loved K5 motor. Walking to the front, having a look at the design, you can clearly see that stacked headlight, very reminiscent of the Suzuki GSX-8S that I tested. Love it or hate it, really, I must say it's grown on me. Looks very futuristic. I love the body panel work. If you look carefully at the bottom, these look like winglets coming out the side. All round, I think it is stunning. But if you think back of the Ducati 999, that stacked headlight of 2003 and 4, not as loved as the 916 and not as loved as the successor 1098. However, in today's day and age, this bike looks very transformer-like. I think it's very futuristic. Even that paint scheme works really well. It's sort of a battleship grey, light grey. However, you see a metallic flake in it. You have the two-tone grey, you have the darker grey here, also a metallic flake in it. All round, a stunning look if you walk around the bike. It does look brilliant and it does work for me. So therefore I give this bike the title, the well-mannered naked liter bike. Not as aggressive as the hyper nakeds, the BMW M1000, the nakeds and that, or the Ducati Street Fighter V4. The obvious competitors to this bike would be more like the Yamaha MT-10, the Kawasaki Z900, and maybe the BMW S1000R. And if you were to take the Ducati Street Fighter, the V2, not the V4. So all-round stunning bike, but I think let's jump in and talk more about this motor. Now looking at this motor, as I mentioned earlier, it is the evolution of that very famous and loved Suzuki K5 motor. Obviously evolved and upgraded along the way, Euro 5 compliant, different cams, producing 150 horsepower now. It's an inline 4-cylinder 999cc double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, liquid cooled. Now if you look behind here, neatly tucked in here, the radiator, 4 header pipes, 4 into 1 over here. And on that point, have a look at this plastic. It's that camo look. Looks really fantastic. The motor putting out 150 horsepower at 11,000 RPM, 106 Newton meter at 9,250 RPMs. So stunning all-round wet multiplate clutch with the anti-hopping 6-speed gearbox, quick shifter, bi-directional up and down, final drive chain. Looking at the suspension, up front you have a fully adjustable KYB upside down 43mm fork. At the back, dual swing arm monoshock KYB, spring preload and rebound damping adjustable in the back. The wheels front and back 6-spoke aluminium 17-inch and shod with a 120 and a 190. The brakes up front, dual disc 310mm floating discs with Brembo 4-piston calipers and ABS ring, as you can see over here. Going to the back, you have a single disc 240mm, again your ABS ring over here, ABS standard front and back, and you have a Nissan single piston fixed caliper over here. ABS, as mentioned, standard front and back. Seat height is a low 810mm. Fuel capacity 19 liters. Curb weight of this whole bike being 240 kilograms. It's obviously stacked with electronics on this bike. You have your traction control, you have your ABS, you have your IMU and everything with lean angle sensors, LED lighting, front and rear indicators and all of that. The one place where this bike could be faulted, I think, looking at this dash. Not a full color TFT, but more of a digital LCD, old school. Yes, I quite like it. It's a full cluster. Everything is there. You don't have to toggle through it. And all your traction control, rider modes, everything is there with your gauges. Nice tapered handlebars, nice and wide, good leverage, uncluttered controls, and again, very reminiscent of the 8S, Suzuki 8S. Here you can see the LED lighting with daytime running light. All round, I must say, it's a stunning looking bike, but I think proof is in the pudding. Let's jump on and go for that ride now. Okay, ready to start. Just on that point, a really nice feature. Turn the key and you have that easy start on that button. You don't have to hold the button in and start it up. You just push it and it fires itself up. It does everything it needs to. Really cool. As I say, that display, a pity it's not a full color TFT, but everything is there. You get used to it fairly quickly. You can find everything. It is a matte finish, not gloss, so reflections under control. So let's start up and go for that ride. A nice sound for a standard pipe. As you can hear, it's got a really nice little rumble. Let's start off talking about the basics, comfort. I think today's bikes, a lot of the bikes have very hard seats. Now, I noticed with this seat, it's got a thick padding. It is firm, but it's nowhere near, I would say, 90% of bikes today that have a very, very hard seat. It's not as soft as, for example, a touring seat that you have on a BMW GSA. However, it's a comfortable seat that you can do a good couple of hours in riding in it. I'm sitting totally upright. If I were to remove my hands, put my hands forward without leaning forward. Totally comfortable riding position. The handlebars nice and high up here and tapered to the side. Quite wide, not too wide. So for lane splitting, very, very practical. But it gives you good leverage. Bike, I can feel immediately, very nimble. Also, it's not too wide with handlebar and mirrors. The mirrors come off here, are slightly wider than the handlebars, but have a look at this. Quick shifting. If this does not put a smile on your face, then I don't know what will. Fantastic. That's the beauty of naked bikes. Wind in the hair, no wind protection. You just get the sensation of speed. The vibrations are not too much through the foot pegs and handlebars. You know when to change. The quick shifter is smooth. It's crisp. You know you got the next gear. You're not hunting and getting false neutrals. From that point of view, stunning, stunning bike. The exhaust note, as you could hear, it's fantastic. I always say loud pipes save lives. This is not too loud, but as you're giving it, it definitely does give you a smile because you can hear it. Not over the top, but definitely fun. Rolling on. That quick shifter by Suzuki is absolutely sweet. I have noticed if you're gassing it hard, it's a positive shift, but it jumps you forward. If you're on the power like I am now and you shift up or down, it's seamless. You really hardly notice it. So all round, it's stunning gearbox. Love it. I love the gear ratios. It's not all in all top speed. It accelerates quickly. It's seamless, linear. There's no dips, there's no spluttering. It pulls out of the block. So fun bike. And as I mentioned, the handlebars are nice and wide, however not cumbersome. If you look at the handlebar ends to the mirrors are slightly wider than the handlebar ends, and it just feels good. You sit nicely over the front, you're sitting upright. Your legs are superbike style, if you want to call it that. Because if I show you, if I lean back, you see my thighs tucked neatly under this tank, and the foot pegs are really under my bum. They're quite high set, so if you taller than 6 foot, I am 6 foot exactly, you could be a little bit on the cramped side, but it's a very sporty seating position. I would say it inspires spirited riding, and pretty much what I love doing, and this type of bike would give you. Commuting, obviously an absolute dream and a pleasure. The suspension is firm but not too hard, not track focused. It's firm, it soaks up the bumps. You do know what's happening with the road below you, and you're in control. So the balance of the suspension with the seat, standard set as it is factory, for me quite nice all round. Good feel. The roll on of the power, smooth, no dip. It's totally manageable. You expect it, nothing unexpected, nothing jerky and frightening you in any way. You can play down the rider modes and set it up for yourself. But I must say it is exactly what you want it to be. A naked sports bike, which it is. It's not a hyper naked that'll scare you and frighten you. It's what I referred to in the beginning, the well-mannered. It has super aggressive looks on the bike. However, when you're on the bike, if you're riding a little bit like a hooligan, you can match the looks of this bike. If you just want to commute sedately, this bike can do it. The only thing would be that should you have bad weather with rain or something like that, yes, you will get wet. However, naked bikes, that's what it's all about, playing with the elements, being out there. The bike has a very, very solid feel, good build quality. Bike is very nimble. I'm going to do some twisties now and get onto the highway. And these wide handlebars, you can put a good input. If you want to lean forward, if you want to do track days, be an enemy to knee sliders, this bike can definitely accommodate you and reward you on that one. You can shift weight to the front. It is all round a well balanced bike. This silver clamp up here on the handlebars, in my opinion, should be black, because it does detract a little bit from this dashboard. If this was a full color TFT, no problem, but this bright silver against this LCD clock, a little bit of a distraction, but not something terrible. Plenty power on this bike, and you can really throw it around corners. This is a proper hooligan bike. The sound is brilliant for a stock pipe. Brilliant sound, brilliant handling. The brakes, I don't know if it's a new bike, but it requires quite a firm pull on the levers. I don't know if the brakes haven't bedded in properly, but it's quite a firm pull on the levers. You do get it stopped, However, yeah, there we go. It is a little bit of a hard pull, so a bit unexpected on that, but when you do pull it firmly, progressively, definitely good stoppers. It's ample for this bike. Maybe the brakes just have to bed in a little bit more on this bike. But what a package. I mean, when you talk naked bikes, you have something here that is ultra modern looking, cutting edge. It is a complete package, has all the electronic rider aids to keep you safe. It has rider modes, it has traction control, which is on off. You can set it. Have a look at that. Wonderful motor, absolutely brilliant, from the sound of the exhaust note all the way to how it pulls seamlessly. Plenty power, that 150 horsepower. The torque is brilliant off the line. I think any more than this and you would start getting into the hyper naked, into the really aggressive stuff that I don't class as commuters anymore, because all of us, when we put the helmet on, close the visor, the red mist comes, and that's when we tend to get a little bit cocky and misbehave. This is the type of bike that I would class on the limit. This is a bike that you can have lots of fun and at the same time not scare yourself or be a knucklehead and do something overly stupid. So I think fantastic all-round package, superb, and Suzuki always find a nice balance somehow between value for money and a whole lot of motorcycle. This thing is, I need to actually detune it because I'm quite heavy on the throttle. I really like to twist this thing's throat. This bike pedals. Okay, let's just behave. On that point, no wind protection, nothing to speak of. So as you can hear, on a bike like this, wear your quietest helmet, because wind noise is a slight problem if you don't have a quiet helmet. Naked bike, what else to expect? Stunning overall cockpit. If I were to complain about one thing, I personally would black out the triple clamp and black out this clamp holding the handlebars. That would give you a much cleaner and softer look on the dash. Other than that, I wouldn't know where to fault the bike like that. Maybe this LCD display does make this bike look a little bit aged. However, it could be one of those things that makes this bike so cost effective. When it comes to these levers on the side, the controls, very manageable, and even with gloves on, it's a good tactile feel. You know exactly when you're engaging what. As I say, that start button, you just push it, let go. You don't have to, it does it all itself. Easy start. And the LCD display, that cockpit, it is really good. It, at first glance, very cluttered, very busy, but once you understand it, it's fun, because you don't have to toggle through anything to see what is my miles, what is my fuel range, what is my RPM, what is my speed, what is my traction control, rider mode. You can pretty much see even temperature, everything at one glance. Once you know where to find everything and look for everything, it's all there in front of you. It is a bike that short wheelbase. It's got a proven chassis from the R1000 GSX. Stunning, superb handling, super nimble bike. I love the motor. What can you say? Derivative of the K5, which is legendary by now. It's even used in the new Millennium Katana, if you like. It's a brilliant motor. It's a torquey motor. You can do wheelies on this bike. You can do stoppies. You've got top kit. You've got top electronics. Very futuristic, modern look and design on the bike. Once again, not for everybody, but I do feel, give it time, give it a chance, it will definitely grow on you. It's a stunning look. doing a little bit of heavy traffic now, just to see how the lane splitting capabilities are on this bike for commuting purposes. On the rider mode, you can definitely set this thing to be quite aggressive on the throttle, and you can adjust this bike according to your preferences or your rider skills, which is fantastic on these bikes nowadays, these bigger bikes. In years gone by, when you bought a bigger bike, you needed the relevant skills to go with it. Nowadays you can get one of these bigger bikes with awesome amounts of power and just set it up for your skills or preferences. Quick shifting, it's got a little blip as you shift it. Fantastic. As you could see, traffic, lane splitting, no sweat on this bike here. An ugly road, really bumpy. You can feel and hear in my voice that it is quite firm. It does bounce up and down. However, the nice thing is the seat is really nice and padded, so the suspension quite stiff in the setup, but fully adjustable, as I mentioned on the specs. So it is a bike where I have ridden now for quite some time, and I can vouch for the fact that it's not something you're going to get fatigued in. The ergonomics overall is brilliant, comfortable, and just all round a pleasure to ride. All round a fantastic motorcycle to live with every day. I must say, I enjoy it. I think it's a brilliant looking bike, and I hope you guys enjoyed this ride and review with me of this all new Suzuki GSX-S1000. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, please remember, as always, please hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, and most important of all, guys, please hit that subscribe button to help me build the channel. And if you like, the reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading something new.